Alright, hello gamers, Muckluck here, and today I got another episode of I Tried, where we try out the Amalgam during the Guild Wars 2 beta. The most dangerous part of this class so far has been surviving all the crashes, because we have crashed like 25 times during this beta. Moving on. The Amalgam. The Amalgam is the Engineer's new elite spec coming in Visions of Eternity, which has got a new mechanic where they get a bunch of skills up here on their tool belt that they can make some selections on, and of those selections, they get both an active ability, like this button is Big Swingy Sword, but then it also, at the bottom of it, adds effects to what happens when you press Evolve. So whatever three things you choose here will design what this button does. And when you hit this button, you evolve into Liquid Metal Man, and you get effects based on all of these things as mentioned. And then these have their own separate thing. Additionally, you've got a bunch of, separate skill line here, which are all related to, liquid metal things. For those of you who didn't see the lore behind this character, basically you're an engineer, you've helped raise a metallic slime, and you're wearing it kind of like the Venom symbiote from Spider-Man. It's pretty cool. It's got some very beautiful animations that look really cool. They clearly use the same textures as the Juggernaut legendary weapon does. This is the Juggernaut in my hand right now, and it does the like swirling metal around it. But let's talk about the build itself. So I went to Snowcrows, and Snowcrows, by the time I got there, had already posted a simple power DPS build for the Amalgam. This was the build that I tried out. Actually, I also tried out a Condi build, and it was very good, but it was running 3 kits, so it had a lot of weapon swapping. Because you're like, press some buttons, bomb kit, press some buttons, flamethrower kit, press some buttons, grenade kit, press some buttons, default weapon, press some buttons. There was a lot of buttons. So I went to this build because it just had 1 kit, so effectively you're using 2 weapon sets, the bomb kit and the hammer. So this is the build, and it is purely a power build. And just to show what it's like in action, I'm currently just a pure DPS, just unga bunga, using the arena console. This guy has all conditions. I have all boons, which is probably a few too many because of modified ammunition, so this is going to be slightly higher than it would be in a realistic setting, but you'll see it's it's way beyond that. So I don't even know the rotation here. I'm just going to hit buttons and let's see what happens. We're going to do this and this and do that and do that. There's 53k, there's 56k, and then we're going to reset, and then we're going to hit these ones again. There's 69k. Let's do this and this and this button. I don't even know what that one does. Let's drop some bombs on the ground. We're just gonna hit all of those buttons there. Beautiful. Boom, 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 boom. And you can see we're currently sitting at 42,000 damage, and I have no idea what I am doing. And that's pretty much how this goes. Honestly, beautiful class, huge damage. It's probably overtuned right now. I am pretty sure that we are going to see some nerfs on this because, again, I do not have a rotation right now. I am not following any instructions on how to get the most out of this. We are simply mashing buttons and rolling our hands on the keyboard and getting a lot of numbers. So with Condi, I actually got even higher. I think we were over 60k for a little bit on Condi, and I've heard rumors that some players of Amalgams managed to get 100k. I cannot verify that, but I heard that. But with how easy it was for me to just copy this build and just roll my head on the keyboard and get 60k, which then tapers off down to like 40, it's still really strong. It's really, really, really strong. Yeah, I also don't have food buffs or utility buffs right now either, so that's something as well. It's really, really good. This version of the build offers like no utility for your party. It is just me greedy, me DPS, that's it. Now, there is some interesting other applications of Amalgam that I have seen some people bring up that I think are worth talking about. And one is the quickness and alacrity thing. So we're going to make some changes to our build here. Right here, a protocol shred, which is the one that I had on my F3. It throws the shuriken things, but also it makes it to where on your next evolve, you gain 8 seconds of quickness and super speed. There is another protocol called Cleanse. It is a defensive one, cleanses conditions, gives you barrier and boons, and it will make your evolve give alacrity. It will give 8 seconds of alacrity. So this gives 8 seconds of quickness and super speed. This gives 8 seconds of alacrity when you press evolve. Now, there is a thing here called Contagious Mutation, which will make your strain enhancement effects be shared to nearby allies when they are activated. So if you're using this, instead of being 8 seconds on you, they become 8 seconds on you and 6 seconds on everyone around you. Now imagine you're running concentration gear and you have 100% boon duration. That becomes 12 seconds of quickness and alacrity and super speed. Super speed caps at 10 seconds, but you get the idea. On your party when you press evolve. Now, evolve is a 45-second cooldown. But if you are running the tool straight line, it reduces the cooldown by 15% down to 38. But if you have alacrity, that 38 goes down to close to 31. So 12-second duration of quickness and alacrity, and a 31-second cooldown on the button. So if we can shave off another 19 seconds, it's 100% quickness and alacrity uptime on a button for a whole group. And for that brings us to mercurial tendencies. Disabling an enemy reduces the cooldown of evolve by 3 seconds. So, some quick math here. If you can do 7 CCs after doing the evolve button, so you hit the evolve, your group gets quickness and alacrity, you do 7 CCs, evolve pops up again, and you hit it again, repeating. There are some folks that have found a way to have this one character give perma, quick, and alacrity to their party. However, they become so focused on that, my understanding, and this may change as the beta progresses, is that they really can't do much of anything else. They are unable to really focus on doing damage, they're unable to focus on like healing support, so it's not like a quick alac healer, it's not a quick alac DPS, it's just quick alac CC, because they're just chaining CCs to keep resetting the cooldowns on this the whole time. So that is how it works right now. I don't know if that will evolve. I can't imagine the developers would want it to. And the reason for that is when Chrono gave Quick and Alac, they got rid of its ability to do that. Now, it's also possible that their view of the game, their vision of the game could change. They got rid of a lot of unique buffs that no one else had access to when they did the change to spirits and banners some time ago. And when they did that, they were like, all right, no more unique buffs. They got rid of Spotter on Ranger. There was, I think it was Assassin's Presence on Revenant, like all the unique buffs. But now they've added some back with some of these new elite specs, so maybe they're changing their minds on some design decisions. So could we receive the return of the quick alac in one person? Maybe. However, would it even be worth it? If you had a 5-man group, and instead of, let's say, a heal alac and a DPS quick and 3 DPS, if you had a one person doing quick and alac, but they're really not contributing much of anything else, I think that's a net loss for the group. Because then you've still got a healer, and the healer could take some of those very rarely taken traits, like Druid and Paragon both have one that really ups their healing potential, but it doesn't give quickness or alacrity. They could take that, and then you've got 3 DPS. But the group's damage is definitely lowered in that example, because you had like 3.5 DPS, but you lost the person that was DPS quick or DPS alac. Now that might change. Like I said, if someone can do more theory crafting with this and come up with a better version of what I just demonstrated, that might change and it might get even better than it currently is. But that is after, it is currently 6 p.m. on day 1 of the beta as I'm recording this. So this is my thoughts after, playing it for a few hours and, hearing other people talk about it and stuff like that. But yeah, so far, this is really fun. It is really cool to play DPS. I tested it in PvE situations, doing various metas and boss events and stuff like that. There was a lot of crashing on the servers today, so I had a lot of interruptions, but it has got some cool abilities in its kit, which have beautiful animations. I love the customization of the tool belt. That's very neat. So even if you got 2 amalgams in the same group, they might have their kits be completely different. But on top of that, it's essentially a greedy DPS. It's a greedy dime a dozen DPS. They take care of themselves. They do big damage. That's their thing. With the way their kit works right now, I don't anticipate seeing them become a common boon DPS or healer, just big damage. But I would love to be wrong on that because you guys know I love support playstyle. So if any of that changes, I'll let you guys know if I hear about it. But right now it is big damage and probably too much damage. I believe it is going to be nerfed. Because right now, it is really easy to just have no idea what I'm doing and roll my face on the keyboard and get 50 to 60k. So, that's my time with Amalgam. Off to the next one.